Good morning, everyone. I hope y'all are doing well. I'm just sitting on the back porch. It's pretty chilly, having a cup of tea, getting ready to start my day, checking out my garden. I don't know if I've shared it. I did do a garden video earlier, but I'm a gardener, and it's just one of the hobbies I started a couple years before COVID, and it gives me a lot of peace and a joy. So I'm out here in my garden just thinking about all the work I've got to do, and I've been putting off because in gardening sometimes it's about timing, and if you plant things or start plants and don't get them in the ground, the production sometimes is slow, or the harvest doesn't turn out correctly. But isn't that funny how you can compare? And I find that often, that in life, if your timing is off, things just don't work out well sometimes, and the benefits that you can reap aren't as well either. So I just find a lot of parallels to life in the garden, and I think God uses it to teach me a lot about life. Sometimes we get impatient in life, and it kind of goes to putting seed in the ground and waiting for the plants to come up. The first year that I started gardening, I would get impatient, and I would like pull things up thinking there was something wrong with the plant. But what it taught me is sometimes we are like that with our prayers. We ask God for things, but we get impatient because we don't see it immediately, that we start praying for something else, a different direction. Well, if this is not going to work, let's do this. And then sometimes you're just tired and you're spent and you don't know which way to go or what direction, and you procrastinate, you put things off. And sometimes it's like you have plants that you really don't have to put any effort into. Like, I grow Malabar spinach, and I do it because it's high in vitamin C, and it's easy to grow in Texas. I had no idea it was an invasive plant, apparently, and I kept giving it to some friends, and yeah, I just figured that out. But apparently that's why I can't kill it. So, and I love that. But sometimes God will put things in our lives that are there that we can rely on, and that we have to put out very little effort for. And I think it's in those moments that God really sustains us, especially when we hit those seasons that we're tired. And in everyday life, your Christian walk, it really is about what season you're in and the things that we're supposed to learn in those seasons. And sometimes I think it's how God teaches us patience, by not giving us everything we want all at one time and in one season. And it's how you acquire faith through those times. By walking with Him from season to season, you acquire the faith, and it serves you well later in life. Because when COVID happened, you know how everybody was in a frenzy? I wasn't freaked out. I wasn't fearful. I wasn't anxious, because I knew who to trust. And it serves you well. If anything happens in your life, you know where to go. You're not shaken easily, because you've walked with God through every season in your life, and you learn that God is faithful. And so it's a good foundation to stand on in your life. That's the beauty of age. It's a funny thing to me that in this world, especially in American society, that there's such a fear of aging. There's a beauty to aging because you've lived through things in your life that have tried you, that have tested you, but you're still standing. And you know where to go when trouble hits. And you get to look back on your life and see where God showed up. And He's always been faithful. He's always been there. And you see how God has blessed your children and blessed your grandchildren. And you really learn to be thankful for what God is giving you and where He showed up in your life. So also, when new seasons happen, when life changes, I think it makes us more adaptable, because we know that, like in the springtime, beautiful things, new things in life can show up that will bless us. And if we hang on to the past, the old things, the things like, look at all these dead plants around here, these old things, if you hang on to those tightly and don't let go, you don't let room for God to work in the springtime, in the new seasons, the new things that God is going to give you. So I want to encourage you to embrace change, embrace the newness of life, embrace the new seasons in your life, and don't be afraid. And if things are moving slow for you and not happening the way you want it, don't be impatient. Trust in the Lord. Do good and dwell in the land. That's one of my Bible verses for this season. Because I find if you're faithful in trusting the Lord, He will be faithful to you. And I have never regretted trusting God. So that's my thought for today.